Did you ever need to have your own website? Your website for your personal needs, such as your online resume, invitation to a wedding or a party, a family update, or simply a website with the pictures that you want to share and keep it for yourself. A website for your company, where you can present your products or services and invite people to contact you. And the beauty of this is that it is safe, secured, professional, and you don't need to have any web design knowledge at all. If you have a computer, a web browser, and a Google account, that will be enough. In this video, you are going to see how you can get, not one, but unlimited 100% free websites. Here you have the example of the Fireglass website. We will make a similar one to show you how it works. We will use multiple pages, add text, add images, add links, and publish it online. Step 1. In your computer web browser, search for Google Sites. Step 2. Log into your Google account. If you don't have one, you can create it using the Create Account option. Step 3. Go to the Google Sites dashboard. On the Google Sites dashboard, you can see 3 main segments. The hamburger menu with the settings and all the available options. The template sections. And your sites where you can see all your created websites. Step 4. Let's create a new website. On your Google Sites dashboard, you can go to the template gallery to see all the available templates. There are personal, work, small business, wedding, and education templates. But what really counts is the layout that you most like. If you don't want to use a template, but create your website from scratch, you can also do it by choosing a blank template. For our first website, let's choose the project template. Let's take a quick look at the template. We have here already some sample text and some sample images that we can use. By default, this template has 4 pages. And we can see them if we go to the right, and we move from the Insert tab to the Pages one. Here are the pre-built 4 pages. Everything that you see is fully customizable. You can add, change, or delete anything that you want. Step 5. Let's take a quick look at the menu options. We have here 3 areas. The top menu options, the left menu options, and the right menu options. The top menu options. In the top menu options we have Site Name. This is what will appear in your Google Sites dashboard. The Undo and Redo options. The Preview options so that we can see how our site would look like. Our website link that will be available once it will be published. The option to share it with other people. The Settings. The 3 dots where we can see the version history, where we have the option to make a copy and we can read the Google's terms and conditions. And the Publish button. The left menu options. In the left menu options, we have the very same settings options. The option to delete the header. The horizontal section options where we can change the style, duplicate the section, or delete it. For the style, we can use one of the available ones, or we can use our own image. The right menu options. In the right menu options, we have 3 tabs. From the Insert tab, we can add text, images, embed an HTML code if we want, or access files from Google Drive. We also have predefined content blocks with different text and image layouts. Then, we can add collapsible groups. We can add a table of contents, so texts with hyperlinks to different sections. We can add an image carousel, buttons, and so on. In the Pages tab, we can duplicate or rename pages using their properties. Or we can add a subpage. We can also add a new page by clicking the plus sign at the bottom. From the Themes tab, we can add customer themes or use one of the ones provided by Google. Step 6. Let's create our first web page. We can go to the Settings option and select where we want our desktop menu to show. we can leave it at the side of our website. This will ensure the same user experience on smartphone, tablet, or computer. Then, let's change the site color to black. On the brand image, we can add our own logo, and also change the favicon or the icon that will appear on the browser tab when our users will visit our pages. It's important to add them both for branding purposes. Also, keep in mind that you can change them at any time. You could use pretty much any size of pictures, as Google Sites will automatically adapt the size. We can now close the settings windows and update the page. On the page, we can first change the header image. Here, it's good to consider landscape images with a quite high resolution. We used, for this example, an 8000 by 4500 pixels resolution. Next, we can make the site name visible for our audience. To do so, we can go to the upper left corner of the header and type our site or brand name. In this exercise, let's just call it website. And we can delete this part with the text. We can delete this part of the text by pressing the delete button on the keyboard or by left-clicking on the trash sign. Now, let's start changing the blocks. We can start by putting here our own text. We can change the fonts. We can change the font colors and the font size. Also, we can put here our own text. Let's add a welcome message and also format the text. We can also add emojis. Now, let's change these images with our own. We have some pictures already prepared, but this is only our choice. If you want to use other formats, less or more pictures, feel free to add them and delete those. Let's change a bit the text part. We can imagine that we want to remove all the text from the right of the photos and put them horizontally, side by side. Google Sites interface helps us with vertical lines to organize the blocks as we wish or to align them in different positions. Even that is not recommended to drag photos from the top or the bottom, but it's always best to start from the corners. In Google Sites, we can drag them as we wish, as the pictures will not result distorted. We can add some titles for our images. To do so, we can go into the right menu to insert and select text. We can drag the text box where we want and add our formatted text. Then, we can duplicate the text box and use it for the others too, as well. To duplicate an element, we can click on the icon with the two overlapping rectangles. We can play by renaming our pages and creating hyperlinks to them and buttons to lead the audience back to the home page. To rename the pages, we can go on the right menu, select Pages, and click on the three dots of each page. To add the hyperlink, we click on the text, and when the element menu options appear, we can click on the link symbol. Then, we can either add an external link, such as YouTube, for example, or we choose among the website pages the one that we want to connect to. Then, we can select properties and write the new name of the page. It's important to keep in mind that if you create a link between two pages and then you change the names of one or both pages, the link will remain valid. To drag an element in Google Sites, we can click on the little dots at the left of the page and hold it with the mouse and drag it where we want. The horizontal blue line will serve us as an indicator of where the block will be added. To position an element in the page, we cannot use the right, middle, or left text options, but we need to drag the element in the position that we want. The right, middle, and left text options can be used only for the text alignment within a specific element, such as a button or other. Let's move the button to the top one more time and we are good to go. Now, let's go to the home page and click on Publish to see what we have so far. We need to define our URL. What we add in this field is what will come after sites.google.com/view. You should choose here a site name that is both unique and simple to remember. For this demo, we will use a random name. As soon as we are ready, we can hit Publish. Now it's published. We can go at the upper right level to copy the link of our website. In a new tab, we can paste it and press Enter. This is how it looks. Let's test the links that we just added. The links are working and leading to the pages that we made the connection to. We can click on the back button to return to the home page. Let's also see how the menu options work. Also, the menu options are working. Again, if you prefer to have the menu on top, you can choose the options in the settings. But, most probably, it will keep the menu on top for desktops and tablets and turn it into a hamburger menu for on the smartphones. Now, let's add a few more changes and then to see how you can republish or unpublish your website. First, we can go to the Learn page and add a carousel. To add the image carousel, we need to go to the right menu, then click on the Inserts tab and go down until we see the image carousel. Let's add some images. Depending on the carousel type that you want to create, you can choose either landscape or square pictures. We are going to use square pictures just to see how easy and flexible it is in Google Sites to create a beautiful image carousel. To reorder the pictures, we can simply drag and drop them in the position that we want. We can now hit Insert. Once the carousel is created, we can drag it from the sides or corners, and we can place it wherever we want. Let's try to put it in full landscape position. Next, we can change the style to one of our own. We go to the left menu, and for the sections that we want to change, we upload our images. We used colors only as this was creating a good design for our website. If you want to use pictures or textures, you can do it by following the exactly same steps. And here we are. We can republish our website with the changes made. Let's go again to the Publish option. As the site is already published, now you will see these two screens. In the left, it's the latest version with the changes, and in the right, it's the old version. As soon as we are okay, we can hit Publish again. Let's check the online version and then unpublish it. To unpublish it, we can go to the down arrow next to the Publish button, and from there we can select Unpublish. We will receive this notification and we can hit Ungot it. We hope that you enjoyed this video, and it is helpful for you to build the free websites that you want. If you have any questions about how to use the platform, write them in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe to Fireglass for much more.